Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Omori. So we have one last puzzle to do before we can defuse the bomb. Why there's a bomb inside the whale? Yeah, the big thing in the center that just went down.
Which you can set off by doing the puzzle inappropriately.
What happens if you set off the bomb?
It just, well, you die.
You just get a game over, and that's
you get a game over. But the screen resets, so it's not like you have to go back to that title or anything like that. It's just you fucked up.
You can brute force it if you want to.
That's nice.
The days of game over screens in RPGs sending you back to the title screen are long past.
Thank God.
Well, I mean, like, I understand why. Because
I don't know what argument you're gonna make for it, but fuck it. I'm glad it's gone.
it was just easier to program on systems that had like less memory and shit, you know?
Yeah.
But like even up into the PS3 days, it was kind of a novel concept when, say, the Dead or Alive games would just start a fight over after you lost without needing to reload from the character screen. Man.
Is this like in the arcade mode or also in like
any mode?
Okay.
Okay, so you have like Tekken 6, right? I think it was 6.
I know in 7 you can just do a rematch right away for Tekken.
I think it was 6, but like on PS3, whenever you lost a fight, the entire fight, stage and all, would have to reload from scratch.
Oh, the whole thing? Oh, no.
Yes, the whole thing.
Wait.
And mind you, the PlayStation 3's load times are not fast. I remember it being such a goddamn relief when I played Dead or Alive 5 and realized that every time you lost a fight and had to restart, it would just jump right back into the fight without having to reload everything because it kept everything loaded like it should have. Because there's no reason not to. Come on, Tekken. What are you doing?
Is Sweetheart the main bad guy of the dream world?
No, she's just kind of here.
She's just kind of here, but she is the most recurring.
Bad guy. Okay.
Slime Girl's Lair? What?
We just met one of them, actually.
Oh.
They're mad scientists who live in Humphrey.
Right. I like how, for a flag, this raft just has a t-shirt on a pole. It's the kind of thing that you'd expect a bunch of kids to cobble together by the riverside, you know?
Yeah, that's like... I'm remembering the Rugrats movie where I think they made the flag of their little boat a diaper on a stick. I miss the Rugrats movie.
That would be a terrible flag. Diapers are too like bulky to actually.
I mean, it's not like they're literal babies.
Yeah, I was going to say the babies.
Well, I mean, like, you know, it's not gonna blow in the wind, so it doesn't work as a flag. Get some boxer shorts out of your dad's drawer or something.
If I remember correctly, they like rolled down the street in their little wagon and then into the woods and should have died. Although should have died is literally every Rugrats episode, so I suppose that doesn't say too much, you know.
most neglectful parents ever.
What the? That's natural selection working.
This is the only part of the dungeon I don't like because I think it kind of meanders a little.
A little bit, yeah. It just goes for a while.
Just a run around collecting the MacGuffins kind of thing.
Yeah, you're building this bridge of Humphreys by going around everywhere in this area and looking for different Humphreys, and you're doing this multiple times, too.
Notice that the search for Basil is now not incomplete. It's just gone.
Yeah, it's kind of a subplot of this dungeon where, for some reason or another, nobody can remember Basil.
Oh.
That's interesting, actually.
which is kind of depressing if you do the dream route. I would imagine. It's like you've forgotten why the game even started. And you haven't been doing the real world stuff, so it's not like you're making up for that in reality the way you are in this route. I really need to get my hands on this game and actually play it myself. But
Yes.
like,
I believe it does go on sale fairly frequently, so I don't think that it should be too hard to find, you know?
Yeah, I just haven't had spare money for games is all.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep myself from buying new games as much as possible, but you know, good luck with that and you know, with my self-control.
Well, I mean, like the only like spare spending money that I have right now, I'm currently spending on my Game Pass so that I can keep playing Persona 3 Reload, which I haven't played since my first big marathon session when it came out, because I was in the middle of Morrowind at the time. So, like, yeah, oof. I have done surprisingly well at keeping myself occupied with games that I do not need to pay for, but can still legally play, either because I already own them and have for like 6 years, or because, hey, it's a $10 subscription and I get this whole library of shit. But
yeah, I know that Game Pass has just been like one of the best deals going on for forever, and I should just get on that, but I don't like gaming at my computer very much. My chair's just not the most comfortable, and I'm not spending $900 or more on some fancy ass gamer chair. No thanks, I'm good.
Why would you ever spend that much money on a fucking chair?
I don't know, man. Listen, you see, every once in a while you see those like images on Twitter where it'll be like single men like apartments, and it'll just be like a folding chair in front of a TV with a PlayStation in front of it. And maybe I'm just the pathetic one, but I'm like, what's wrong with that, huh? Why do you need extra shit?
you know, the actual like really expensive gamer chairs aren't expensive for the chair part, but for the electronic shit built into the chair.
Yeah, there's like all sorts of other bullshit.
Speakers and stuff around the headrest, all kinds of like armrest stuff. It's neat, but like,
I don't need it.
yeah, you know, like the upper limit for comfort when it comes to a chair is maybe $200 if you're going really premium. And that's just for like a chair that'll last a long time. So, I can justify that. I've gone through like 2 cheap office chairs over the last year alone. So, I know how cheap the cheap ones can be. I need another one. I'm still in the one that creaks. Although, you know, I can't really complain about this chair. I got it for free. It was already used up.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, free is free. That is a good point.
Oh, yeah, was that the one you just found?
The thing about office chairs is that you can very frequently just find them at the curb in front of someone's house because they bought a cheap office chair and used it up. But it's still technically a chair that you can sit in and is reasonably comfortable. I can't exactly endorse this one, though. It's like, you know, it's mostly comfortable, but the cushion toward the front is worn out, so if you lean forward a lot, your leg just falls asleep. Now, let's see. Where is... Okay.
Like, you don't need to spend that much money on a fucking chair, dude. It's like a good office chair is all that you really need. And those get expensive too. I'm not gonna say they're not.
Pro tip. Pro tip though is like, yeah, get just a regular ass office chair, but get a cover for it too, because you know, the cheaper office chairs are not built to withstand like contact with human beings. You
just give me the image of the chair actively hissing.
It's like your headset, you know, the actual like ear cushions on the headset will wear out over time. So get a cover
with oil.
Yeah, so it's the same principle. Get a cover for it. Your chair will thank you. So will your wallet, because you won't have to buy another chair.
Maybe that's what the chair cover people want you to think, Lewis.
No, I've experienced it with multiple chairs. I can empirically verify that your wallet will thank you for getting just a bitch basic office chair cover.
Oh, God.
You know, you might think the Humphrey bridge is funny, but you ain't seen nothing until you played Neverwinter Nights and experienced the kobold barrel, where you save a bunch of kobolds from a dragon, and they all jump into a bucket to lift up a statue that's in your way.
Why are we hallucinating Costco hot dogs?
He's eating them. We're inside of Humphrey, remember?
Oh.
Uh,
He went to Costco without me, asshole. I wanted a Costco hot dog.
More importantly, you want to sit here and save the sprout mole.
Yeah, you do want to go out of your way to rescue this guy.
What happens if you miss him? Is this like a one-shot thing?
Yeah, it's a one-shot thing.
It makes a section later trickier.
If you don't save him.
What? His planet needs him? What?
Yeah, his planet needs him.
It's volleyball.
Why did he need saving if he's just gonna fall? If he's just gonna fall back up?
You fall back down.
I mean, he can fly, right?
No.
That's what he just did.
No, we booped him back up like a volleyball.
Oh.
Is there a fishing minigame? Oh no, you're throwing stuff at his little guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a weird little thing. You're just getting all three to match. I thought it was going to be one of those, if you hit one Humphrey, the other two change as well, and you're just like, oh, it's one of those puzzles.
No, it's not.
No, you're just repeatedly hitting them until they all share the same Photoshop filter. It doesn't matter which one, as long as all three match.
That's not really a puzzle so much as just...
No, it's just...
Oh, is it random which one he turns into?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's just kind of a waste of time, to be honest.
It really is. It's like watching someone, shuffle 3 cups with, the ball in the cup, and then after spending 10 minutes shuffling them, he just tells you it's in the left cup. Afterwards. Oh, thanks.
I like how one of them is the one where you forgot to put on your glasses.
You got a whole pizza.
That's actually one of the best healing items in the game.
Yep.
Very few things in life are as effective as comfort food.
Okay, so the funny thing about that particular Humphrey with the green book is that this game, like Undertale, has something that's equivalent to the fun values, where different things can trigger depending on if the game has a set value set to something specifically. It's just innocuous Easter egg stuff.
Yeah.
That Humphrey there, if the fun values are set right, will just blurt out, I fucking love air conditioners. It is the only time in the game the F-bomb is dropped.
Okay. Interesting. Oh no.
This fucking thing.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Lewis.
I don't know why, but I just had flashbacks to the raft level in the Genesis Jurassic Park game.
So I had the biggest scare doing this sequence, because at this point in time, I was well aware that, I'm collecting way too many wrong letters for Hangman. And that body is almost completed. And I was certain that if I got that wrong letter in the pathway, I was going to fuck myself out of whatever thing I was trying to get, not realizing that you're given more room for error, for wrong letters, than you think you do. But I spent way longer in this section trying to make sure I was not going through the pathway that would ram me into the incorrect Hangman letter.
I'm already there. I like how in that one he just in that one case the Humphrey just blinks over yeah, okay. Of course, I know just enough about how RPG Maker scripting works to know that the Humphrey didn't actually move. It just turned invisible and another Humphrey popped into place.
Just suck the fucking fun out of everything, why don't you? Jesus Christ.
This is why you never watch any speedruns of any game. Because then you realize that, oh, it's not actually as fun and whimsical as it is. It's actually just a combination of soulless ones and zeros.
Look, you know, I've made RPG Maker games, you know?
Yeah.
Well, not full RPG Maker games. I mean, I would seriously admire anyone who made a complete game on something as slow and clunky as the PlayStation 1 version of RPG Maker. But, you know, I've had enough experience with how the event system and shit works. And the only real difference between the PlayStation 1 version and, like, all the versions you can play on PC is, like, for some reason they have a different sprite set for the PlayStation 1 version.
You also have a mouse, which makes this sort of thing much easier, I imagine.
Yes, it does. You know what the PlayStation 1 version had? Do you want to know what they included in the PlayStation 1 version? A sprite art editor, so that you can make your own custom sprites.
That's legitimately cool, but doing that with a D-pad sounds like the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It is. I think the PlayStation 1 had a mouse, but more importantly, you had to do this with a PlayStation 1 memory card. So it's like, you know, you only have 2 slots for memory cards, and they have like 15 blocks each, I think it was. And like the game itself is going to take up an entire memory card on its own. So like, how are you going to fit any decent amount of sprites in your game? You're not. It's useless. But there it is.
Certainly ambitious, but limited by the hardware of its time.
Definitely. The best thing about the PlayStation 1 RPG Maker was the sample game it included. Gobley's Adventure, where you played as a goblin who wanted to become a boss. It was like the most goddamn kindergarten Saturday morning cartoon take on a sample game you could ever come up with. But it was fun. Your party members were like a hole in the wall, and I think a cat.
I'm intrigued.
I think it was a cat named Neko. So, you know, a cat named Cat. Probably the smartest joke in the entire thing, but, you know.
You know, I grew up with Nicktoons, and the name of the literal cat-dog hybrid was called Cat Dog.
Yeah.
And the cat half was called cat, and the dog half was called dog.
Called Dog, yeah, absolutely. Genius. So Sweetheart's here because, you know, after falling out with Captain Space Boyfriend, I guess.
I thought he was Space Husband.
No, his ex-husband or ex-boyfriend, I think, now at this point.
You know, it's really progressive that the husband is the one who has to change their name in this world.
Sweetheart has decided to hire these scientists to make a clone of herself so that she can love her own clone.
Good for her.
Unfortunately, the scientists are kind of bad at their jobs.
Not in this case, because this clone, I think, is called Perfect Heart, where she is a more than perfect copy of Sweetheart. In fact, she's too perfect, and Sweetheart doesn't like her because of that, because no one's more perfect than her. But these clones are bosses you can face in the Omori route, and Perfect Heart here is the hardest boss in the game.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She's a super boss.
See, that's interesting that if you want the heart... Well, I guess it makes sense, but... It is interesting that the most difficult, like, gameplay for the game comes on the quotation marks bad route.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a Reese's Cup mentality, right? It's like you got your chocolate and your peanut butter, where if you want a more thorough RPG experience, you play one route, you play the more story-driven character-driven narrative, and you play the other route. But both, I think complement each other, like in a way that makes you intrigued of wanting to continue on both routes.
I like how that is a fun detail, how one of the stools is just knocked over for no reason. And one of the plants.
potted plant. Yeah, I was gonna say, I just noticed the potted plant was also knocked over too. So clearly, Two-Face is doing all this.
What the shit?
It's a bridge.
It's a bridge with a face. It's funny that they call attention to the fact that there are pages of research in a language you cannot read. Have you ever tried to read anything in a dream? It doesn't work.
Yeah, everything's AI generated.
Damn it, John, you stole my joke. I'm so mad.
Sorry.
I mean, if it's your dream, it would sort of be AI generated in the sense that your dream is generating random stuff that you've read from like your past experience and just sort of jumbling it up, which is sort of what AI generation does.
Which is fine, because the AI just needs more data. So just start reading more. Which brings us back to our book tangent.
My point was, like, you're generally never able to read anything in a dream. It's just sort of like a level of detail that dreams don't cover.
I've never tried, but then again, I very rarely remember my own dreams. So, like, I can't remember ever attempting to do anything like this.
Like, you might have the impression that you did read something, but you'll never actually experience the reading of something. I think it's one of those things that lucid dreamers can use to realize that they're dreaming, but I'm not sure. So, it just occurred to me that the monsters in this area are kind of reminding me of, like, the amalgams from Undertale. When you get into that, like, underground laboratory.
Yeah, it's a lab. So, like, a lot of shit happens in these parts.
Yeah, it's just giving me the same weird vibe. Well, not so much the water mimics. Those are just, Voltorbs. I like the bright pink microscope just sitting out there at random. The massive number of cages is... Like, I realize this is a dreamscape and everything, so I shouldn't be taking everything too seriously. But, like, we're in a laboratory setting where the scientists are rats, and there are animal cages for presumably experiment subjects. And
that are human, lab humans.
Yeah, that's where my brain was going with that. It's just like, okay. What the shit is that?
It's Porino. Porino?
Okay, I thought it said Pornu.
You don't want to know where I was created.
Random mad science picnic.
Yep.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just some questionable gelatin.
Don't find out how gelatin's made.
It's mostly just sugar and water.
I'm talking about old school gelatin.
Now I want to know. This was
Don't do it.
This was something I had no interest in. I was never going to think about how gelatin was made in my entire life, John. And guess whose fault it is now, huh?
Yours.
Okay, let's see. Gelatin is a protein made from animal collagen, usually cows and pigs.
It's probably more like how they get that.
Gelatin is made of animal bones, cartilage, and skin. There you go.
Yeah.
You've had old school gelatin before. I see.
No, I just
Wait, isn't that like
I just typed gelatin into Google.
Isn't that literally just the Jolly Green Giant who grinds your bones to make his bread, but his bread's actually made of gelatin?
I guess. Leave me alone.